My name is Clara, and I am 37 years old. I have an older brother, George, who, at 45, isn't an idiot, but he can be profoundly lazy. He is a master of weaponized incompetence, a skill he deploys with surgical precision whenever a woman or girl is around. This behavior, enabled by our parents for decades, has finally come back to haunt him in the most spectacular way, and now my family is calling me heartless for refusing to clean up his mess. To understand why I'm refusing to help him, you need to understand George. A perfect example happened last Christmas. Our mother had just had bunion surgery a week prior and was supposed to be staying off her feet. We were all at her house for the holiday meal, a meal I had almost entirely cooked myself. George, who has lived in that house for nearly 20 years of his life, decided he wanted a snack. He stood in the kitchen doorway, looking utterly perplexed. "Mom," he called out, his voice a perfect blend of confusion and helplessness. "Where do you keep the paper plates?" I watched from the living room as my mother, wincing with every step, got up from her armchair and hobbled into the kitchen to get a plate for her 45-year-old son. She then proceeded to make him a plate of food. Both she and George then looked at me, their expressions a passive-aggressive cocktail of disappointment, as if I was the one at fault for not offering to serve my grown brother so our mother wouldn't have to. Never mind that I had cooked the entire meal and would be doing most of the cleaning afterward. That is George in a nutshell. 7 years ago, at age 38, George received a significant windfall from our grandfather's estate. I received an inheritance too and used it as a down payment on a nice 5-bedroom house that has easily doubled in value. George used his to buy a large house of his own. It was during this time that he met Melinda. She was 50, a smart, responsible, and hardworking woman who was, in my opinion, far too good for him. She came into the relationship with a steady job and a daughter, and she was upfront from the beginning about her inability to have more children after nearly losing her life during childbirth. George claimed he was okay with that. But for the next 12 years, whenever Melinda brought up marriage, he would deploy his signature brand of emotional manipulation. He'd talk about his complicated feelings, about not being able to be a biological father if he fully committed to her. He'd then flip the script, saying that since he was willing to overlook her fertility issues because he loved her, she needed to show her love by being patient and waiting for him. That line worked for 12 years. After Melinda moved in, George's entitlement escalated. He demanded that she pay half of all the bills and a significant portion of his mortgage, justifying it as her rent, and a fee for allowing her daughter to live there. At the time, Melinda had few options. Her former landlord was raising the rent, and she was helping to pay for her sister's medical bills. She and George explained it to everyone by saying that what she paid him was still cheaper than what she would have paid in rent elsewhere. I said nothing because it wasn't my relationship, but it always felt wrong to me. 2 years ago, the situation imploded. George was caught cheating. Melinda was furious and left him. I don't know all the details of what happened in the weeks that followed, but she eventually came back, seemingly to work things out. It didn't stop George from cheating again, but Melinda seemed to have made a grim peace with it. She told me once, with a shrug, that the arrangement was still a better deal for her and her daughter, and so long as he kept his affairs out of the house, she would cope. This brings us to a few months ago. There was some sort of significant water damage to George's house that required extensive repairs. George, who hates the labor of dealing with contractors more than anything, was overwhelmed. He didn't want to take time away from his job or hobbies to handle the estimates, the scheduling, and the paperwork. Melinda, ever the responsible one, offered to do it all. George, in his laziness, didn't question it. He was just relieved to have the problem taken off his plate. She handled everything, and whatever paperwork she gave him, he signed, often in front of third-party witnesses like the contractors themselves. Last week, she dumped him. And that's when the bomb dropped. Melinda had gotten George to sign legally binding paperwork stating that in exchange for her managing and overseeing all repairs and contributing to the household for over a decade, she was entitled to 45% of the value of his house. Now, she is demanding that George either sell the house and give her the money or buy her out for her share of the equity. George is trying to fight it, of course. He's claiming that he didn't fully understand what he was agreeing to, that she took advantage of him. He has found a lawyer willing to take his case, but the legal fees are expensive, with a large retainer required up front. This is where I come in. George and my mother now think that I the responsible sister, should help pay for his legal battle. I have refused. I don't see why I should have to shell out thousands of dollars to save a grown man from the consequences of his own laziness and lack of foresight, especially when his case is weak at best. Now, I'm being called heartless, a bad sister, and a traitor to the family. My mother called me yesterday, her voice trembling with a mixture of anger and disappointment. "Clara, how can you do this to your brother? He could lose his house." "Mom," I said, trying to keep my voice even, "George is a 45-year-old man. He signed legal documents without reading them because he was too lazy to manage his own home repairs. This is a mess of his own making." But she scammed him. Melinda tricked him. He trusted her. He trusted her to do all the work for him, you mean? I countered. He also trusted that he could string her along for 12 years, cheat on her, and still have her pay part of his mortgage without any consequences.
He made his bed, Mom.
He needs to lie in it. "You're being so cold," she said, her voice cracking. "We're family. We're supposed to help each other." "I have helped," I said, the words tasting like acid. "I've helped by hosting every holiday so you don't have to strain your back. I've helped by being the only one who does the dishes after those holidays. I've helped by being the responsible one my entire life, while you all enabled George's behavior. My help is done." The truth is, I think Melinda played the long game, and I can't even be mad at her for it. For 12 years, she was manipulated. George used her infertility as a tool to keep her in a state of perpetual gratitude, as if he were doing her a favor by staying with her. He had her pay his mortgage, contribute to a property that was building his equity, not hers. He cheated on her and expected her to accept it. And in the end, his own weaponized incompetence was the weapon she used against him. He was too lazy to read what he was signing. He just wanted the problem to go away. Well, it went away, and now 45% of his house is gone with it. I suspect the 45% figure is deliberate and brilliant. It's not half, which might look like a standard marital split and be easier to contest. 45% feels specific, calculated, as if tied to her actual contributions over the years. My guess is she can prove she paid for close to that percentage of the mortgage and upkeep over the last decade. She didn't scam him, she invoiced him. Now, my parents, who raised this useless man, want me to bail him out. They have the nerve to call me heartless. I'm the one who used my inheritance wisely, who built a life for myself without manipulating anyone. George used his inheritance to buy a house that became a stage for his laziness and infidelity. Why should my financial security be put at risk to save him from a disaster he created? He won't win this in court. He'll just rack up tens of thousands in legal fees, lose anyway, and then be even further in debt. And who do you think he'll come crying to then? I am not a bad sister. I am a sister who has finally had enough. My brother is a fool and a cheater, and frankly, I'm rooting for Melinda. He made his bed. Let him lie in it.